My name is Gino Rivera, the Frank Sinatra of the Spanish Mafia, the Puerto Rican Pitbull, the Latino Al Pacino, and you are listening to RMP Radio, where pro wrestling is elevated. Why? Because I told you so.
RMP Radio is back on the air. Hi, I am your host, Mr. Fourth Row, and joining me once again to preview the big pay-per-view NRW for Rocky Mountain Pro that's coming up this Thursday, August 3rd, the Encyclopedia of RMP, Lucas Bradwell. Lucas, how the hell are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. We are getting towards the end of summer, or at least we're well into the summertime, and NRW is here. It is a very special pay-per-view to me because those initials mean something. Those letters NRW means something to me. A guy who's been in the company a long time, and about the history that our company was called NRW before it was called Rocky Mountain Pro, and so kind of going back to our roots a little bit, and with a twist, it really means something. And this is going to be a very special pay-per-view coming this Thursday.
Yeah, and then, I always say this every time we preview this pay-per-view, is I had 1 week of RW before it before it changed over to Rocky Mountain Pro, which... Yeah, go ahead. I know what you could say.
So speaking of that, we just celebrated our just 2 days ago, our 7-year anniversary of becoming Rocky Mountain Pro, because that fateful week that you're talking about, Milestone 6 was the very last pay-per-view, very last show that we did under the initials NRW. That following day, we were officially Rocky Mountain Pro. July 30th, 2016 was our last show as NRW. So a lot of significance around this time of year.
Right. Yeah. So true. Yeah. And it's great timing that the pay-per-view is going to be able to be lined up so closely to the anniversary.
Yes.
So yeah, somebody was thinking.
It's almost the stars line up every once in a while, and I think that's what's happening here.
Yeah, so cool. All right, so like we have mentioned in the past with the pay-per-views, since these are now happening on Thursday, Ignition is going to be the quote-unquote pre-show, if people remember way back in the day, the Sunday night heat of the pay-per-views for the Big E. So the Ignition is going to be that for the pay-per-views that are happening on Thursdays at the Wimmer Arena. So that's always exciting, and we should probably start right there. So what we have coming on for Ignition, we don't have all the matches that we may be happening, but we do have at least one that we do know that is going to be happening on Ignition, and why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, so if you watched this past Ignition last Thursday, of all people to get a title shot, an Ignition title shot, of all people to qualify, our guy Sergey is going to get his first one-on-one title shot, as he defeated Brew on this past Thursday to he qualified. He got 3 points. He was already at 3 points, so he actually got to 6, which he didn't need to, but he's at 6 points. He is now, along with Curtis Cole, a number one contestant to the Ignition Championship, and he will get that title shot at Ignition this Thursday. right before the NRW pay-per-view. So very exciting that Sergey is going to get his first title shot. But the bad news for Sergey is he's going up against possibly the most dominant champion in all of Rocky Mountain Pro in one Zamore. Zamore has been on an absolute tear as Ignition champion. He's just done it in such convincing fashion. He's taken on all comers. He's had a lot of people qualify to that 5 points, and he just beats them all in a line. And really, no one has came close to defeating Zamore. I mean, we're talking about he's beaten the likes of Briscoe Crown, and even though Briscoe put on a good show, really Briscoe didn't get close. Caden Koyama, put on a good match, but still really didn't have Zamore close to losing. None of these guys have, and so Zamore has just been absolutely dominant. So for Sergey to get his first title shot against Zamore, you gotta feel you feel good for him on one hand, but on the other hand, you almost kind of have to feel bad that he's got to go up against someone like Zamore.
Yeah, and one thing that does stick out to me too, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Zamore is the only multi-time Ignition champion. Is that correct?
I believe that is correct. Yes, he did have the Ignition title. Well, yeah, he had the Ignition title for quite a while, back right around the pre-pandemic era, and he was actually it's still the Ignition champion, I believe, at milestone 10, and then that kind of title went away, and so yeah, I believe he is the only 2-time Ignition champion.
Yeah, so he may not want to give that up so easily, even though that we got this the upstart, which I think a little foreshadowing. I think we got a lot of upstarts. We're going to be talking in this episode of RMP Radio, the upstart Sergey, and will it be muffin time for the Ignition title?
Sergey is probably the most unique star that we've had maybe ever in Rocky Mountain Pro, because you think just about how awkward the start of his career has been, and really even up until this point, it's been a challenge and a struggle for Sergey to kind of learn everything that he needs to know in the ring. There's a lot of cultural barriers and probably some language barriers and a lot of things that Sergey has struggled with. And he's got that very unique personality, does a lot of things that are a little bit goofy at times, and but yet he has endeared himself to the RMP faithful. You as a guy who sells merchandise and sees kind of what the RMP faithful, what they are rooting for and who they're rooting for, you have to see it that Sergey is just a fan favorite. They love Sergey. It's like they flock to him, and it's almost like they relate to Sergey a little bit and connect with him.
Right, yeah. That's a great point, because I think you were reading my mind, and so I want to implore the RMP faithful that are going to be coming to Ignition and NRW this Thursday to come pick up a kazoo for Sergey to, I want you to hear. I want him to hear you in there. So, do we do hashtag kazoo crew for Sergey?
Kazoo crew. There you go. That might be a new moniker for Sergey fans, the Kazoo Crew. So
Kazoo Crew. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we'll have to run that by Sergey. I think he won't mind.
Yeah, only $2 American for a kazoo.
Well, that's a great deal. You get a kazoo for $2. You get to make noise and support the great Sergey. Just Mr. Muffin time.
Yeah. So, like we said, so we got Ignition there. We don't know anything else that may be happening on. Of course, you're going to be on the call there, getting the people hyped up for NRW.
Yes, I'm going to be on the call. Don't know if Derek Stone is going to be with me or not, but if not, I do. I have a backup person that'll be there that I know is going to be there. So you'll have to stay tuned for that.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into some of the matches that we're going to have for NRW, and of course, we do want to preface this by, get tickets at rmpwrestling.com. For NRW. If you absolutely cannot be there, and I don't know why you can't be there, of course, subscribe be a supporter on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Rocky Mountain Pro. Become a supporter, and it's only $9.99 a month to get these pay-per-views, as well as all the other content that happens out through the month, and you can, of course, interact in the live chat with the commentating team when the shows, and the rest of the RMP faithful when the shows are happening.
Yeah, it's a great feature. It's something that I believe we're probably the only pro wrestling company that does that has a live chat going on during their show. So yeah, we got great perks. We also do our Rocky Mountain Pro Rewind on Sundays as well, and we've once a month we have an interview with a Rocky Mountain Pro star, which we just had 2 of them actually.
Yes.
This past Sunday, we had an interview with Mercury Yaden, and if you were a Rocky Mountain Pro supporter, you were able to ask Mercury Yaden questions. And then just tonight, as this recording is being made right now, Damon Ace was on with the guys on Recharged as he was talking about his NRW title match against Mercury Yaden, and that was also a chance for the RMP faithful to ask Damon Ace some questions. So there are a lot of perks to be an RMP supporter.
Yeah, and which, to be honest with you, that's probably the kind of one of the few times that people may actually be able to interact with Damon Ace on that kind of basis.
Yeah, not a very talkative person, not a very he's not very friendly at all, but I'll give the guy credit. He gave some honest answers. I think he gave some fair answers, and we can talk more about that when we talk about their match later on.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into some of the matches. I want to start with the breaking news match that we had that was just announced on Recharged that just happened, like you said, at the time of recording, literally minutes ago. We got Sin Bodhi taking on Jason Knoll. Unknown stipulation, but these two have had a little bit of going on over the last little bit here in RMP.
Yeah, Jason Knoll, we've seen this transformation. Obviously, Jason Knoll, formerly Batu, moved on to his real persona, who he is, Jason Knoll. He always has felt like he's been disrespected. He felt like he hasn't gotten the recognition that he deserves. He is an RMP, an NRW original. Mm-hmm. He's been with this company since day one. And, as we've watched old episodes of the NRW days on Rewind, we can see just how prominent Jason Knoll was as the Diamond Standard. And so, as he's went through his career, he just felt he hasn't gotten the respect that he deserves. That's why we've seen this attitude change. He's just got a very nasty personality now. Is looking to take it out on people. And he felt very disrespected that he didn't have a match at NRW. Decided to take matters in his own hands a couple weeks ago, attacking Sin Bodhi and basically making it known that he wants a match with Sin Bodhi. Sin Bodhi obliged and said, hey, If the powers to be make it a thing, and you want a piece of the clown, you can have it. And so, yeah, it was announced on Recharge by Titus Machiavelli that we are going to have a one-on-one match. Jason Knoll taking on the Warlord of Weird, Sin Bodhi. This is going to be a match, Mr. Fourth Row, where you have two big, tough guys, kind of unorthodox styles from both. It's going to be one of those good old-fashioned Haas fights that Titus Machiavelli talks about. I just don't know that Jason Knoll is ready for what he's going up against in Sin Bodhi, because Sin Bodhi is at a whole nother level when it comes to being an unorthodox and unpredictable wrestler. We've seen some of the kind of crazy things that he does in the rings, and it's so hard to prepare for. I'm not sure that Jason Knoll exactly knows what he's getting himself into with this match.
Right. And then the unknown stipulation that is going to be happening for this match, will it benefit, the wacky way and stuff that we're, filling in for NRW and packing all these stipulations into the NRW pay-per-view, I kind of have a feeling that it may actually benefit Sin Bodhi, just because it's that weirdness. It just factors in, and it just kind of plugs right in to him.
He's a guy that it's not like, I don't think he goes into a match with a game plan. I don't think he's just kind of doing whatever feels right. So I think any stipulation that this match has, it's not going to phase Sin Bodhi one bit, and he's probably going to have fun with whatever it is. Jason Knoll, on the other hand, I feel that he is very serious about his message of the disrespect, and I think he's very serious about trying to gain that respect by beating his opponents convincingly. So throwing a stipulation in there, it may kind of throw off Jason Knoll a little bit. It'll be interesting to see whatever stipulation it is, how Jason Knoll reacts. I don't think it's going to affect Sin Bodhi as much. So yeah, this will be, I think, a thing that if it's something that Jason Knoll is comfortable with, it'll benefit him. But if it's something maybe he's not used to, that's definitely going to favor Sin Bodhi.
Yeah. Next match I'm showing here that I'd like to preview, and this one kind of intrigues me because of, after this match is said and done, it's going to be like, it's going to be sad. No matter which way it ends up, and that's the tag team disbands match, JK Pop versus La Isla. Your thoughts on this?
Yeah, this is, you said it right. I know that it sounds weird coming from me, that I would kind of be a little bit sad if JK Pop was forced to disband, but I really would. And the reason why is because if you take away all the shenanigans and everything that they've had to do, or everything they've done in their reign as tag team champions, and even as, before being tag team champions, just watching them as a tag team, they have been the epitome of what tag team wrestling is. Mm-hmm. And so no matter what you think of their tactics, they have just been one of the best tag teams, not only in Rocky Mountain Pro, but it's one of the best tag teams I've ever had the privilege of watching. They just are so good together that if they were forced to disband and never able to team up again, I think it would be very sad for those who love watching tag team wrestling. But on the other hand, the other team that they're going up against, La Isla, they have been an absolute thrill to watch. Echo and Balaam, just, even though they haven't teamed up for near as long as JK Pop, they've only been teaming up with each other for about a year. it's been so fun to watch them. Just they seem to click right away. They were just so exciting as a team. So, and this rivalry that they've had with JK Pop, it's been a very emotional. I think as a fan of good wrestling, it's been great to watch these two teams do what they do, and it is going to be sad because one team's going to lose and they're going to forced to be disbanded. We're not going to be able to see that team ever again as a team, and I think that is going to that's going to hurt as a wrestling fan either way. Both have been a joy to watch. So yeah, it's going to be a little bittersweet, but it's also going to be a very, very fun match to watch. I just I been seeing what JK Pop, how they've kind of been a little bit on the rocks. We've seen the kind of connection between Caden Koyama and Johnny Casanova hasn't been as strong as it once was. Obviously, with that match they had at Milestone, Caden Koyama came out on top in that best 2 out of 3 falls. It seems like they've put all that in the past, but you got to think in the back of their mind, Casanova has Casanova. Remember, he won that tournament on Supercharged just about a month ago, which kind of one-upped Caden Koyama, who had gotten a title shot for the Ignition title. So it's just a lot of things going with those two, and where Balaam Lynx and Echo, after losing their tag team championships, they've went on to kind of just further their singles careers, but they've still been on the same page when they've had to team up. It seems like their relationship is still strong, even though they've been more focused on singles action in the past month or so. But now it's two cohesive units trying to see who is the best, even though they don't hold tag team titles. And one team will disband. It's going to be historic, really, Mr. Fourth Row.
Yeah, well, yeah, agreed. I mean, because both of them reached the pinnacle of being a tag team, and one of them, because of the other La Isla, because of JK Pop, reached the pinnacle of being a tag team, and there's just all these moving parts between these two. They've got, a history, even though it's, overall it's a shorter, intense history, to be honest. So this is going to be a wild, and I don't think really either one is going to want to lose this. I mean,
No.
Yeah, I would wait definitely more over JK Pop just because the length of them being together, but I still don't think neither one are going to want to lose this, so they're going to go all out and get this done.
Well, and I think we haven't really touched, but just how much hatred there really is between the two teams. They don't like each other at all.
Yeah.
They can't stand one another. We've seen it boil over, and it's really affected the shows. It's affected Charge and Ignition. They've kind of caused chaos. And Danger Dean, I don't think he wanted to put this harsh stipulation on, but he kind of felt forced to. I got to do something about this because it's affecting our shows. These two teams are just basically taking over the shows, so he had to do something, and it drove him to this. Their hatred of each other is what really is driving this. Maybe even more so than the teams not wanting to disband, but just the hatred they have for each other.
Yeah, so much so that we have the JK Poop T-shirts at the merch table.
Yeah. Well, that's the fans not really appreciating JK Pop for who they are. They're maybe a great tag team, but they can be awful human beings. So that's why the fans they demanded their JK Poop shirts.
Yeah, So true. All right, so from there, let's see what else we got for the NRW pay-per-view. Let's get into a championship match. Let's talk about the Lockettes championship match. Once again, like I said before, we got another upstart in Adrian Mascara taking on the champion Lilith Grimm in a submission match. And boy, is this, for me, this is just a toss-up, because we do have two people here that are very well versed in that style, and it's the the battle. Like I think you mentioned that Lilith had gotten to get this championship, and the upstart Adrian getting into this tag or into this championship match. What else should we fill in the fans here on this match?
Yeah, well, let's first start with the rise of Adrian Mascara. Her rise is very surprising to me. I knew there was something about her when she first came in. I could tell that there was something special about her, but I didn't think it would come this quickly. She has really just seems to have caught on to what the professional wrestling is supposed to be much quicker than a lot of other people have in the past. She just seems to get it. She has really utilized her background in amateur wrestling, and has just I think she's used that to come out as a competitor that maybe I don't want to say that the Lockettes maybe took her lightly, but I don't think that they thought that this young woman would be the star that she is already. And so how she got to this point by beating the likes of Skylar Slice and winning triple threat mats and beating the Goliath of Midnight and defeating the maniacal Noel Summit. It seems like win after win, and you see the confidence building in Adrian and the fan support that she has. She has a very devoted fan base. They love Adrian Mascara. They call themselves the Miscreants, and so she's just developed this thing. And to get this match, a submission match, where that's her specialty is submission, that psychedel lock that she has. It's been that crossface has been just about the most unbreakable move that we've seen. Once she gets it locked in, you're done. She's and that's what's basically gotten her to this point. But then you have Lilith Grimm, on the other hand, who has fought and clawed her way to her goal that she's been working for 3+ years. She made her Rocky Mountain Pro debut, I believe, at milestone 10, and has really just kind of climbed her way up. She's had opportunities to be the Lockettes champion, and it just didn't ever come to fruition. Finally, she gets to the mountaintop in the Lockettes division at milestone 13, and I can tell you, she is not ready to let that title go anytime soon. And I know that Adrian Mascara is a submission specialist, but I think the strength of Lilith Grimm, the moveset that she has, she may not have a specific submission hold, but we've noticed that she's kind of modified that mancuerda into a little bit of a arm bar. I just think that in the whole of things, I think it's going to be Lilith Grimm's desire to keep that belt that she worked so hard for, that she spent years trying to get to. I think it's going to be that desire that's going to get her over the top to this young upstart of Adrian Mascara. I think Adrian Mascara can definitely, give Lilith Grimm the match of her life, and she could upset Lilith. She's had a victory over Lilith Grimm before Lilith won the title, but this is with a whole different set of circumstances. So I think Lilith Grimm is not ready to let that title go.
Yeah, I think she's going to claw and hammer, pun intended, to hold on to that thing.
Absolutely, yeah. The Warhammer is going to do whatever it takes to keep that title.
Yeah. All right, so let's swing back right into another tag team match here. We got the tag team championship, the current champions, Manny Lemons, Lord Mitchell Taylor, the Lemonheads versus Atiba and Bruce Wayans, Choppa City. Very Texas Tornado or Tornado match, right? A Tornado tag team match, right? I don't think it's a Texas Tornado.
Yeah, it's a Tornado tag team match. That's correct, yes.
Which is, I think this is going to be exciting. I think I'm going to implore people to keep their eyes being able to do your 180 vision because of the type of match this is, and because of these competitors. I think there's going to be a lot to watch in this match because of this style of match. I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's going to be a lot to watch in this match. One thing that's going to be very interesting is Manny Lemons hasn't been around for his partner over the past several weeks on Charge. He's kind of left his partner high and dry. Hasn't even returned his phone calls. What is the cohesiveness of Lord Mitchell Taylor and Manny Lemons right now? That's going to be the first question that is going to need to be answered when you're watching this match. You're going to probably find out right away, even as they enter the matchup, kind of see what the mentality and the mindset of those two are. But then when you start really getting into this matchup, it's going to be you got the Lemon Lords, who I think are a little bit more, especially with Lord Mitchell Taylor, there's more experience, more craftiness. They know how to get things done. They've won in a variety of ways, but as a tag team, they're not quite as cohesive as Choppa City is. Bruce Wayans and Atiba, although they had their problems this year, right, they finally have gotten together, worked out all their problems. When they were friends before, they were a very respectable tag team. There's a team that can get it done. They seem to be able to almost read each other's minds. They're all on the same page when they are getting along. So, but as this Tornado match, you talked about it there. That adds a different element to tag team because you don't have to tag. You could be, all four competitors could be in the ring at the same time. The referee has to kind of keep their head on a swivel because there could be a pinfall or a submission going on one side of the ring, and on the other side of the ring there might be the other team pinning the other one. So Gotta watch that. There's a lot going on. It's not the same style of tag team wrestling when you have a Tornado match. So some of those tag team styles that you see out of a team like J.K. Pop and stuff wouldn't be it wouldn't be as prevalent as because of this match. Takes away that tag team, cutting off the ring, a lot of those other strategies that you would use in a typical tag match. So this might actually benefit the Lemon Lords because of that element. They can kind of use their brawling style a little bit more, and just they don't have to be quite as cohesive as they would if it was a traditional tag team match. Also, the wild card could be Derek Stone. Will he be in their corner? We've seen him kind of he's either been a help for the Lemon Lords, or he's been a bad distraction for them. It's been one or the other. Will he play a part of this match? We'll have to see if that comes into play. So a lot of elements in this tornado tag match for the tag team titles.
Right. Yeah. And sometimes in these tornado matches, you have to do a lot of improvising to what you're gonna do, because there's not the hey, I'm ready to tag in and out and that kind of stuff like that. You're just gonna have to take things how that happens and just go with it.
Yeah, it's more of an improvisation, right? Definitely.
All right, so next match we've got here, let's dial up another championship match. The Charge Championship, CBD, Carson Drake versus another one, Upstart, possibly the Rookie of the Year for Rocky Mountain Pro, because we're going to be heading into award season towards the end of the year. Briscoe Crown. Getting up in that, first of all, I want to talk about Briscoe, that interview he had on just recently on was it on Charged or was it on Ignition? I forget which one.
It was on Charged.
Charged, yes. Man, that was, did he just lay it all out there against CBD?
He did. He used colorful language. We saw more of the passion and fire out of Briscoe Crown, which is good to see, because we know how talented this kid is. We know he has a lot of heart as well. But you have to have a little something extra to win a title here at Rocky Mountain Pro. You have to have a little bit of a nasty side to you. And I think that we're seeing that out of Briscoe. I think he's realizing that, to get to that next level and to beat someone like CBD, who we know CBD is willing to do anything that he has to do to not only win that title, but retain his title, that you've got to match that. You've got to be ready for anything that CBD is going to throw at you. But this being a bull rope match worries me a little bit, because Briscoe Crown is not used to really. He hasn't had the opportunity to have these kind of matches that have different stipulations. I think that he's had one ladder match when he was a part of a tag team, and that's really it. He's been mainly in just straight up matches or tag team matches. Hasn't had to do some of these special matches, and to have a match so dangerous like a bull rope match where you're tied to your opponent with a bull rope, and you got to use that as a weapon and choke out your opponent. That's very dangerous, and we know that CBD, he's used to this kind of stuff. He's had experience in bull rope matches. We know that he's willing to take the low road. We know that about him. So this is not going to be just a regular match where Briscoe can use his straight up athleticism and everything that he's gotten to this point. He's got to do something totally different than what we've seen out of him, and that's be a bit more vicious. Is he going to be capable of doing that? We're going to find out, because when you have a bull rope tied to your opponent, I think that would bring out a different side of you.
Yeah, and I was going to say is that Briscoe is, pardon the pun, he's used to being untethered and being able to perform, whatever moves and, he thinks that's going to be effective against his opponent or opponents. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes for him.
That's a good point, that this could take away a lot of his offense, and this could throw him off his game. So, yeah, this is going to be definitely the most unique match that we've seen Briscoe Crown. We're going to see Briscoe Crown kind of out of his element. How will he respond? Will he be able to take the next step and win singles title and really solidify his spot as a top star here at Rocky Mountain Pro?
Yeah. All right. So next here, I'm sorry, but we have to get to it. I know it's a little difficult for you, but we got the RMP championship. We have Curtis Cole, the challenger, taking on the champion, David Drake. Personal feelings aside, this is kind of interesting. There's been some kind of interesting thoughts on this match, especially, and I kind of agreeing with it. Is Curtis Cole the person that can take down David Drake because of Curtis Cole's experience, where he's at in his wrestling career at this point, and what he's been doing as of late? What other further thoughts do you and insight do you have on this?
Well, you're right. This is kind of a difficult match for me to break down because of my personal experiences with both of these individuals.
Oh, yeah.
I've had bad experiences with David Drake, looking back at it, I to be perfectly honest, I know it sounds weird, but I don't think any of that stuff was personal from David Drake. He just did it because he plays mind games. That's who David Drake is. With Curtis Cole, he's kind of made it personal with me, and so I've maybe taken it. I've taken it personal, and I've it's been at times maybe a little unprofessional, but it's just how I feel about the guy. But if I'm going to be the professional broadcaster that I am, I have to say that Curtis Cole is one of the greatest in-ring performers that we've ever had at Rocky Mountain Pro. I have to admit that. I have said that on numerous broadcasts. I've never taken anything away from Curtis Cole in the ring. I just can't stand the guy as a human being. So can he defeat David Drake? Absolutely. He can out-wrestle David Drake. I think he can maybe even outsmart David Drake. But here's the thing. We're talking, if you look back at David Drake's title reign since winning it last October, look at who he's defeated. And we're talking about some of the toughest, most talented people that have ever stepped foot through Rocky Mountain Pro or any wrestling ring. We're talking about guys like Bruce Waynes, who he was able to
take it from,
yeah. And he got in the head of Bruce Waynes to do that. Played these crazy mind games. I mean, he broke into the guy's home, with his daughter there, and just unthinkable things. He's defeated the likes of Sledge, one of the toughest, meanest guys we've ever had. Sin Bodie, Dak Draper. I mean, you think about these names that I'm throwing out here, and he's not only beat them, but he's able to get in their heads and just screw them up mentally.
Yeah.
And we're saying that these big tough guys weren't able to take out David Drake, but Curtis Cole is going to be able to take out David Drake. I respect Curtis Cole's in-ring ability, but to say that he's going to be able to do what those guys weren't able to do, I think we're being a little too much of wishful thinking, or thinking that just because Curtis Cole is a good wrestler, that's going to be enough. That I don't believe that's going to be enough. And he can say he's not afraid of David Drake, and maybe at this point he's not. He may not be. We saw what happened on Charge. He was able to look David Drake in the eye. He's taken the fight to David Drake. I'll give him that. He's kind of played his own game. We saw the blue lights come on a few weeks ago with when Curtis Cole came out to interfere with David Drake and busted David Drake with the brass knucks. So we've seen he's willing to take the fight to David Drake. I can't believe that if the big tough guys that I talked about, if they're not enough, that Curtis Cole is going to be enough. Curtis Cole's never went up against someone like David Drake. And that's I think that is ultimately the factor in this matchup, and I think David Drake will still retain. Not taking anything away from Curtis Cole. I know he's going to take this as me being disrespectful to him and blah, 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 blah. But I don't think he has the other factors that it's going to take to defeat David Drake. And
I just thought of something. I don't think anybody has ever talked about this when it comes to this matchup. These two wrestlers here, these two guys, have parallel, similar career paths, both starting training in Rocky Mountain Pro, both being, coming up, both being great friends of, of Mercury Matt Yaden, when the good David Drake, the smiling, fun loving when he was getting started in his career, and same thing with Curtis Cole, because of course, they, Mercury and him tagged together. And so now we got these two, competing in this match, and here, Curtis is just, a little ahead of him in experience, but very, very similar when it comes to their wrestling career, and some of the same steps and things that have happened to them in the befriending and all the stuff like that. So it's crazy to think when I think about this.
Yeah, I see that. I would say that, to be honest, and I will have to be honest, is that Curtis Cole has had a more prominent career. Even in his first year, he wasn't even in the company, I believe, more than 6 months when he won the Charge title at Milestone 6. So he really had even a more of a faster start to his career once he got going. I would say, yeah, they both, start out, their training was similar and things like that. But really, Curtis Cole has had a Hall of Fame career. I don't know that right now I can say that about David Drake, but it's still early in his career, and he's, they officially never were tag team champions. I'm talking about him and Owen Easton. So he's just never, so he really hasn't had that resume that Curtis Cole has. Curtis Cole has a very distinct advantage when it comes to the wrestling resume. I just think that the mind games, the mental aspect, and the physical aspect is just going to be too much for Curtis Cole to overcome.
Yeah, I could definitely see that, because I think some of that stuff still can get to Curtis, in these matches.
Yeah, and the reason I say that is, look how much I get under the skin of Curtis Cole.
Right.
So you're telling me that David Drake doing what he does isn't getting to Curtis Cole? I don't buy it.
Right. So true. Then we're gonna cap off the night with the NRW Championship. We got the Weapon David A taking on Mercury Yaden. We have, of course, you mentioned it towards the beginning of this episode. We had some YouTube member chats there with Mercury and with Damon. So if you guys want to, after listening to this, if you haven't watched those at the end of the episodes of Rewind and Recharged this week, please do, because there was a lot of good nuggets in those interviews with those two. So we're not going to necessarily rehash or repeat anything, because we do want you to watch those episodes. But this is very interesting. This is, once again, this is another thing that has been going on for quite a long time. We've almost got a full year, calendar year here on these two going at it in this feud over this championship, and many other things with these two, and lots of stuff going on. Both of them has said this is it. But I mean, do you really believe that? Depending on the outcome, and what else do you have to say about this?
Yeah, I do believe this is it. I just watching these two. I think they want it to be over, so that's I think why they agreed to this stipulation of this ultimate endurance match. I think this match stipulation is a ultimate test of really how good you are as an in-ring competitor. It's a test of your stamina, your strength, your wrestling ability. Everything that it takes to be a star is going to be tested in this kind of match, because what it is it's 4 15-minute periods, with each period having to have a different fall in order to win that period. One is going to be it's similar to what they had back in Shocktober that kind of started this whole thing.
Right.
We didn't get that match ended in a draw, which is kind of why because they never had a clear-cut winner, and the way that Damon Ace demanded a rematch, and Mercury Yaden used the kind of no rematch clause,
Right.
and wasn't going to give Damon Ace the rematch, and kind of drag this thing on. And I think that just pissed off Damon Ace more. This made it more personal. So going back to the stipulations, you got to get a pinfall in one period. You got to get a submission in another one. You got to get a knockout in one, and a count out in one. So 4 different falls. Best 3 out of 4 wins. If for some reason there is a tie, but two falls apiece, there will be a sudden death 15-minute period that will go whatever it'll be. Any one of those 4 falls can happen in that last period, and that will determine the winner if it goes to that. But think about this. This match could potentially go on for over an hour. It has that
right.
potential. And think about the stamina. Think about what it's going to take. I think at this point in his career, Damon Ace is in much better shape than Mercury Yaden. Mercury Yaden is quite a bit older. He's not quite in the cardio shape that he once was. He's still very strong. He may not be quite as big as Damon, but I think he's just as strong as Damon. This is a matchup where, yes, the NRW title is on the line, and we know that title means a lot to Mercury Yaden because, he founded the company NRW. He started his whole wrestling career back in Ohio under those letters NRW, which back then stood for No Rules Wrestling. So that belt means a lot to Mercury Yaden. But this match, I think, means more than a belt. This match means to, I believe, Damon Ace, that if he defeats Mercury Yaden, that makes him the best in Rocky Mountain Pro. And I can see where he sees that. I can see why he believes that, because the Rocky Mountain Pro title is our main title, but Mercury Yaden has been the face of this company. He's been who every wrestler that's trained has looked up to. He's been a mentor for so many wrestlers that have come in and out of Rocky Mountain Pro, and to defeat Mercury Yaden would mean to Damon Ace that it would solidify what he has done here at Rocky Mountain Pro, and I think that means more to him than even keeping that NRW title.
Yeah, I mean, there's, like you said, there's also these quote unquote extra bullet points in this match that are happening, and and of course, what you just said there with Damon winning if he wins this match, there's other things, winning the NRW championship on, or retaining the NRW championship, I should say, on the NRW pay-per-view. And with you saying the titles, this time around when the NRW pay-per-view is happening, maybe the RMP championship and the NRW championship are a 1A, 1B, for the company because of the pay-per-view for the NRW, what it means to this company.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it does hold a special place because of the significance and the history of this company. But then, also didn't really talk about it, but think about how this rivalry has gotten a little bit personal. And Damon Ace, I think, kind of made it personal by design. He wasn't getting his way, so he decided that he would make it more personal to kind of piss off Mercury Yaden and get him to want to continue this rivalry. So, we had more matches, and it kind of, went a little bit Damon Ace's way, then it went back Mercury Yaden's way. Then Damon Ace, finally got the best of Mercury Yaden at Milestone, but Mercury Yaden didn't like the way that it went down, because he thought it was kind of a cheap victory by, Damon Ace tying Mercury Yaden's legs to the post so he couldn't get up. Yeah. Which, and, I just, the way I look at it is getting wins here at Rocky Mountain Pro are so hard that I don't really think at this point you can, split hairs about how you win. Getting wins a win. I know some people may not like the way certain people win matches, but you get a win, your hand gets raised. End of the day, that's what's most important. That's what people remember. So I just feel that whoever wins this match at NRW, this is the main event of the pay-per-view. It's been the most heated rivalry over the past year. This is going to do a lot for the legacy of Damon Ace if he can win. And if Mercury Yaden wins, I don't think it's going to affect his legacy, obviously, because I think his legacy is obviously already cemented here. But I just think it adds to the lore of Mercury Yaden, just once again able to conquer another foe that he's had a lot of adversaries over the years, and it's gotten a lot personal. This would be another one that he was able to conquer. So yeah, this is a very heated thing that I'm glad that we're finally going to get a conclusion to.
Yeah, so true. Well, I think that's a great point to put on this looking at NRW, but of course we're not finished for the weekend with these pay-per-view weekends, and now even with the return of Supercharged, depending on how the calendar falls. But we have these great 4-day weekends, starting the weekend off on a Thursday for Rocky Mountain Pro. We're going to be, of course, back at Bierstadt this Friday. Record the next set of charge recordings. Of course, that's a free event for people to attend. Back to Romero's on Saturday this weekend, and back up to Snowpack. And of course, you can get all the details on the social media and at rmpwrestling.com. What do you like about these 4-day show weekends that we have coming up?
I just like that it gives the fans opportunity, 4 different opportunities to come see what we're all about at different venues. I think each show has its own little bit of character to it. If you've been to a Bierstadt show that with the charge tapings, it's a little bit different than when you go up to Romero's, and it's a little bit different atmosphere, a little bit different thing that you'll see. And then on the Sunday afternoons when we're up in Conifer, Colorado, just that beautiful setting up there, and that's more of a kind of a family crowd there, and it just so a lot of I just like the variation of this weekend where you're gonna have we got the big pay-per-view kicking things off, and then just a lot of different ways to consume Rocky Mountain Pro over these next 4 days.
Right. Yeah. So true. Anything else that you think that we should fill in the listeners here for NRW, Charge Recordings, Romero's Snowpack? Anything else that we should remind the listeners about? Maybe.
And I just want to remind everyone that on our YouTube channel, besides our regular shows, Charge every Tuesday, Ignition every Thursday, and obviously this Thursday we got the pay-per-view. That also Sundays we do our Rocky Mountain Pro Rewind. I do that show usually with Johnny Detrop, Coast Crusader, Maki Pins. We watch old episodes of Rocky Mountain Pro going all the way back to the NRW days. We are actually right now currently watching 2012 NRW, so it's very interesting to watch it along with us, seeing the history of this company, those who came before, the current stars that you watch now, and just see where this company has come from. So if you have not watched it, I really encourage you to join us 7 o'clock Mountain Time on our YouTube channel every Sunday, because it's a very fun watch. And then, of course, after this, well, August 31st will be Supercharged at the end of this month. So lot to look forward to. Also in the middle of the month, I believe August 13th, I think, is Worlds Collide, Hugo's versus RMP, as Hugo's Lucha Libre will be invading the Wimmer Arena and taking on the stars of Rocky Mountain Pro.
Yeah, World Collide number 2, Dos.
Yeah, Worlds Collide Dos.
Yeah, so that's going to be a lot of fun to see the RMP versus Hugo's. And I'm going to just shout out, speaking of that, so if you guys are also in the Denver area, come out to Hugo's show. They have a lot of their shows at the Wimmer Arena, so if you guys are familiar with that, you know how to get there, please do. Spoiler alert, or not necessarily spoiler alert, if you were there, they may have set something up for this Worlds Collide number 2. So that's why you don't want to miss these shows. So just a little nugget out there, because I was there. I watched the show and the last Hugo show at the Wim Arena, and so I'm gonna be excited to see if that comes about and see how that turns out with something that they set up. So
right. Very interesting. Yeah, great time to be a Rocky Mountain Pro fan. So
yeah, so true. Well, Lucas, of course, thank you as always for coming on the show here, RMP Radio. But of course, before I do let you go, people wanted to follow you out there on the social medias and the such and everything else. What do you got going on there?
You can follow me on Facebook, my name Lucas Bradwell, or follow me on Twitter or X or whatever they're calling it now.
Twix.
At RMP Encyclopedia. You can also give me a follow on Twitch and YouTube. So all those platforms.
Very, very cool. Awesome. All right. Well, I will, of course, be seeing you here in, like Titus was saying, 40-ish hours or so.
Yeah, something like that.
At the time of this recording. And, of course, we got the big weekend coming up as well that we'll all be there as well. So I hope to see a lot of the listeners Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. All right. Once again, thanks, Lucas.
Thank you.
Once again, a big, huge thank you to Lucas Bradwell for coming on to RMP Radio once again and help previewing this NRW pay-per-view that's upcoming here for Rocky Mountain Pro on Thursday, August 3rd, 2023. Remember that you can get your tickets at rmpwrestling.com. Click on that events link, and there's the link right there to purchase those tickets. If you are following your favorite Rocky Mountain Pro wrestlers, superstars, referees, commentators, podcasters, merch guys, the etc., see if they have a promo code for you to use, and you can get 10% off your purchase of tickets, not only to NRW, but for all of the shows that we have that are ticketed events. Speaking of the events that we've got coming up, let's remind you that this is a Ford show weekend, of course, for Rocky Mountain Pro. We got NRW on Thursday. We're at Beer Stop on Friday, which that is a free event where we're going to be recording our charged episodes in advance. So be there and see all the action that happens before they are packaged all together and put on the YouTube channel at youtube.com/Rocky Mountain Pro, which, of course, we would greatly appreciate if you subscribe, become a supporter for $9.99. And get all those perks as well, like we said, of watching the pay-per-views, interacting with the rest of the people that are on the chat there, as well as the people that are on the show. Then we're going to be up in Romero's on Saturday. That is a ticketed event, so you once again want to head over to the events link on the website, get those tickets purchased there. And then we'll be up at Conifer at Snowpack Pizzeria and Tap Room. That's a free event, a great environment, like Lucas said. That's a lot of fun being up in the mountains and seeing the backdrop of those with the wrestling happening there in front of you as well. Okay, before we get out of here, let's remind you and do some due diligence with everything that I got going on here. Remember, you can get some merchandise of your favorite Rocky Mountain Pro superstars in person at the merch stand, or if you're following me out there on the social medias, I put a lot of things out there, things that are coming in, things that, maybe running low of, to remind you of things that we do have as well. You can also go to the Amazon.com or the Amazon app, search for Rocky Mountain Pro, get some Rocky Mountain Pro branded things like tote bags, which are very useful in this day and age, especially in Colorado where we have to pay 10 cents for single-use bags, so those are always great to have, and after a few trips to the grocery store, you'll have those paid off. Head over to rmpwrestling.com, the events link. You can see all the events, the calendars updated with everything that we've got coming up. Of course, then we also do want to watch you. A lot of different places you can watch us. Head over to the website that gives you everything, but basically we are, of course, on youtube.com. We are on Kick, and we're also on Rumble. The episodes also are on Facebook and Twitch. Big thing on those is just, make sure we can get you followed on there, and then you'll see everything else that we got coming out. Just make sure you follow us out there on the socials. Everything does start at rmpwrestling.com, and then on the socials of the Facebook, the Twitter, as I'm going to still call it as well, and the Instagram, everything has been rebranded, so everything is now RMP Wrestling on all those. So I will never have to phonetically spell that Mike Tango November for you. Everything is RMP Wrestling, all one word. So that is very good and useful for you to find us and follow everything that we got coming up. And once again, if you want to help support RMP Radio, the show, I still do have shirts on hand. I would love to get through those. I still have basically a bunch of those. So if you want to help clean the coffers at the merch table, as well as the wrestlers that have those too, let's get some merchandise churning, and we would greatly appreciate it. We are still working on integrating the website. There's a lot of details that still need to be done, so we're kind of doing a little bit of old school. So just message in, and we'll get that set up to if you want to get things shipped, or if you are in the area and want to pay for it in advance and have it held at the merch stand there, I can definitely do that as well. Just message in, and we'll get that all set up for you. And once again, I want to thank you for listening to RMP Radio, where pro wrestling is elevated.